Sup, guys. You can find it for you for the TheYugiohCouncil, and welcome to Coffee Time.
Oh, I'm here. Hi.
You're here too. Oh yeah, I forgot Mikey's here. Yay!
Wait, fucker, you forgot?
I'm.
No, we're just teasing each other. It's okay.
Of
It's
course.
okay. It's
Of
okay.
course.
So, wait, what are we talking about?
Batgirl. Pretty much just whether it's placed in the game, whether the
Oh,
the way the game is going in terms of
cool.
if it's
Oh,
good or
cool.
bad, pretty much.
Oh,
And
cool. So,
I guess we can also talk about Heavy Storm if we wanted to.
no, we can't bring back Heavy Storm. First of all, pendulums will be broken. So let's stop there.
They
And
said that
Harpy's Feather Duster is better. Harpy's Feather Duster.
Yeah, it could definitely come back, but I'm surprised they haven't yet in TCG, since they tend to like to copy some things from OCG, like Around.
Alright, so besides the bandwidth, which is up for another discussion,
Oh god.
so so back row. What the hell is it anymore?
Uh,
Let's
it's
be honest here, John.
typically, the back row you typically see a lot of decks that run it is warning and scolding.
But it's not just, I don't think so, because you barely see back row at all anymore.
Well, except for the decks that typically do run it. There's some decks that can still run it, like Cosmo can still run it. I think the only
That's true, but like,
I think the only decks that don't really run the backward thing would be like Metaphor, since they don't really need it. Blue Eye still runs backward.
actually no, Metaphors use Metaphor counter.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like generic stuff in general.
Oh,
Like
well,
for
if
that.
we're talking about that, like back row in general, it's just, I feel it's not a threat anymore. The only
It comes in and out, really.
Except for the one deck that's fully based on traps.
Oh, of course, but you know that's just
Damn,
like that's what it's based off of. So that doesn't really count per se.
Well, Polyzoics are annoying though. You can't deny that.
I know, but it's a deck based around back row, so again,
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't count.
we haven't seen a deck based off traps for a very long time. Like,
I know, it's a nice refresher.
since the old age chain burn back way back when.
Oh Lord, you still see that every once in a while.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, Chainburn was the only other deck besides a few other decks that were trap based. Now it's Paleozoics, which are faster, easier to play.
Oh yeah, and most like the big decks don't really play traps anymore. It's kind of sad.
It is sad because I'm sorry to cut you off, but like most decks are just like, okay, it's either you OTK or you lose the game, basically.
That seems to be the pattern of the game in general. Like you have formats where there's like decks don't really need traps at all, and then you have formats where they're everywhere. Like you're just complaining, bring back Heavy Storm, bring back Harpy's Feathers, or bring back all this back row hate.
And it all goes back to the idea of, which I totally disagree on, by the way, the dice roll format, the one that everyone's saying we're in right now. I don't believe that's true.
It's sort of a dice roll format, but it's not as bad as it was in the past.
That I won't deny that. I mean,
if you look back in the past with things like Synchrons were like the big thing, you know.
They were a big thing. They were a big thing before. I remember. Well, actually, at that time when Synchrons were a thing, way back when, back row was still like very mildly used.
Well, it came with the deck. Decks like Blackwings used a lot of traps because it was a control aggressive deck. You know, the Synchrocentric deck didn't use traps because it interrupted the deck. You need more space for more monsters and some spells to help you out.
If we're talking about the synchro format in general,
yeah,
traps were heavily used in like
a few decks
that needed to be aggressive but passive at the same time. Blackwings, Infernities,
Glider Beast. You saw that.
Beast, I think Harpies at the time.
Harpies
didn't use traps. They had Hysteric Party, and that was it. But
Harpies weren't really used back then.
They weren't They were not popular until Channeler.
Yeah, that's when they got the good support. But the Harpies use traps. It's just it comes with the deck really. If the deck really doesn't need them.
But now it's just like, all right, I win dice roll. I should win the game. If I don't win the game, I suck at the game.
You should win the game, but not always. You may win the dice roll. You may open up bad. It just comes down to like.
No, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there are times like if you look at YCS, you can win the dice roll. Like you can still fuck up your own play. You can still get outplayed by your opponent. That most definitely. Just because you're going first, I don't believe that the dice roll format is ever a thing because it just comes down to who can outthink their opponent faster and better.
Yeah, that's true. But dice roll formats can also be a thing because again, it comes down to outplaying, but you can get luck of the draw, and you can pretty much OTK your opponent, without even having to think about plays.
I think we went off topic here. The topic was about traps, not the dice roll format.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, nowadays traps, stuff traps is not a big issue. It's mostly counter traps, the
main trap you're gonna see
strike,
is strike,
vanities, warning, stuff like that.
Quaking Mirror Force, you see.
And they're not. And the problem about it is they're not even an issue anymore. You can recover so fast from a destructive trap like that.
Yeah, because if you're playing a deck like Metaphors, okay, you Quaking Mirror Force on monsters, I'll just do shenanigans later, or it's it comes to using these traps. It comes down to the person using them and trying to disrupt their play when they are the most needed. Basically, not doing it too early.
I think what made traps obsolete, or not obsolete, what made traps less used was when they introduced pendulum monsters and their mechanics, because so many traps were dependent on so many traps, hand traps, regular traps, spell traps. I don't even know if it's a thing.
I'm sure somebody has tried to think of that.
I guess so. All these cards were reliant on monsters going to the graveyard, not being sent immediately to the extra deck.
Yeah, that's why things like Treasure Tribute aren't seen anymore, because it's you play that against a Pendulum deck, they're not going to care, but okay, I'll just revive him back next turn.
Right. In the early days when Pendulum was first seen, people still used Torrential because in the beginning, Pendulums weren't as consistent as they are now.
Well, yeah, because you only had really two, in a sense, good ones.
No. At the time, it was the Magician Pendulums. That was the earliest Pendulum deck we saw.
Yeah.
And now it's just Herditor, I don't even need to pop your field.
Yeah, but there are still some random people who do run Treasure Tribute, and it's kind of hilarious when you do run into it. You can't be mad at it. I've had it happen to me a couple times.
It's traps that can't effectively lock out your opponent or wipe their field in hand, or just lock them out in general. It's not useful anymore. I mean, sometimes yes, you have Grand Horn of Heaven. You can completely screw up your opponent's Pendulum deck or their player, whatever, but it's not gonna affect the game state whatsoever. But not most of the time it won't.
Well, if you can get rid of if you can negate the penalty, someone that can't screw over their plays.
It's not just Pendulum though; it's any deck. Look at Blue Eyes, for example. You have to accurately see, or rather, take a lucky shot at which move is their best play, whether it's summoning alternative, or getting out the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, or summoning the Sage.
Yeah, the boys player could easily bait out the back row and be like, okay,
it's many. Yeah, Blue Eyes is so consistent in baiting out traps that you have to really boil down to how much they can.
Yeah,
do
you have to basically try to take a guess of what's in their hand and predict their plays, and basically just try to see. Okay,
yeah,
negating this will be the one to stop his play, pretty much. And if it doesn't, oh well.
Right. Especially since the build that's currently being used. I've been testing the build, the competitive meta build, and I do have a deck profile, and that will be done eventually. But the main play that you can do with the new competitive build is just summon Goliath with Archbrave's effect, and you'll see how that's done if you watch YCS and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the main play, Goliath. If you can stop Goliath, which is not really a problem because it's just extra deck, but that's if you can stop that one play, then on their turn, then you're good to go. But they have so much more utility, and it's not just Blue Eyes.
This also affects boys can have multiple builds anyway.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out which build it is.
And also decks that can float. For example, the most annoying deck that can float is Cosmos.
It's Cosmos, but decks like Cosmos, Yangzing, which is one of my personal favorites. Things like that. It's like, okay, turn tributes. I don't care. I'll just get a bunch of monsters, and I don't really care. It's just pretty much Konami has gotten to the point to where they kind of want to wean out back row, because I guess they kind of got annoyed at people complaining about the back row and complaining about Heavy Storm being banned and all that stuff. He's like,
look what happened in the aftermath. You listened to Konami for once listened to the people of the 2000s, and now back row's not an issue. But now you got to worry about monster effects and pendulum effects and even spell effects that can alter the game and cause you to lose.
But yeah, it's true. And
all of it just shifted from the back row to the monsters.
But that has always happened when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! Things always shift.
Yeah, but
this is the first major shift, though. This is the first really big major shift. But I feel but someone's telling me, I feel like that in the 6th era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Like the YGO 6. No, I don't know what they're calling it right now. I feel like back row is going to make more of a resurgence and that upcoming thing, because I think it's sort of like Arc V, the Petalum era was the no back row, and the next one, whichever new mechanic comes out, if they do make a new mechanic for that new series, I feel like back row's going to become more relevant again then.
I don't think so, because it was only... But we haven't seen such heavy back row use since... And this is like the best era to go to, the Teledite era, where literally every deck was expensive, but everything was used to its advantage.
Teledite, Dino Rabbit.
The era, Teledite, Dino Rabbit.
Like Dino Rabbit did a lot, Constellars. Oh, well, Satellar Knights as of right, not in Dark V stuff, like Satellar Knights.
Yeah.
Play all that back.
It wasn't since the 5D / Zexal era, as much as I hate to say that.
Yeah.
Was when we've seen heavy back row use, and now it's like even through the anime, it's shifted. You don't see back row anymore.
Yeah, like anime just action spell cards, and I think I've only seen I think one action.
It's just traps. I don't know, but the anime is just. Well, we do get everything from the anime, so
the anime, so it's kind of how it goes. But overall,
But that's why decks like barrier statues and Amorphage, that's why decks like these can just roll through meta decks, because they can lock out special summoning, they can lock out monster effects.
Yeah. And this is why, meta decks can sometimes have trouble with other decks, because they run the traps. They run the traps to stop their stuff.
It's because of the traps. It's because they don't know how to deal with rogue decks properly.
Yeah.
Because rogue decks...
We're not saying a rogue deck can automatically be a meta deck. It comes down to the player in the end. But
it's just the fact that rogue decks know how to properly apply utility to their field, as opposed to meta decks that... And don't get offended, none of you, please. Do not get offended when I say this.
Someone's gonna get offended.
No, they will when I say this.
Yeah.
When most meta decks are just one-trick ponies.
Oh yeah, that's another day. If
you look at Paleozoics, okay, your best play is triple tree toad with triple tree toad. That's it.
Yeah.
Or the Paleozoic Exceed monster. Okay, you're good. Blue Eyes. Okay, you summon Dark Matter. You summon Goliath. You summon Azure Eyes. Your field is set. Cosmos, they just have to constantly float and spam out their Dark Planet or Dark Destroyer or Dark Blade or whatever it is. I mean, every meta deck now, the way I see it, has a theme to bring out something that essentially either wins the game or loses the game for them. If it gets
pretty much the combo-based meta decks aren't really a thing right now. It's basically what he's trying to get at.
Yeah, that's true.
Not like it was in the past.
No, like me personally, I still use Blackwings. I love to pull off all the shenanigans and combos that Blackwings can still do, and that's why they're still in the meta. They're still rogue. I mean, you
Yep.
can still see like 3 or 4 Blackwing decks at YCS or regionals because they have so much at their disposal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just Blackwings. It's like even Fluffles. I heard from people that I know that go to regionals that Fluffles are so rogue deck. They're not a one-trick pony. They can spam out. They can instantly spam the board and just swipe the field and the game at a moment's notice.
And we got off topic again.
That's funny. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but just I would love to see like back row become a thing again. I would love to go back to that era where we always have to be afraid and have calculated risks.
It was, well, to be honest, this was a nice little break from the heavy back row formats. I'll admit. But I do kind of want to go back to those formats where you kind of had outplay your opponent. Your opponent had like 3 or 4 set back row. Where strategy
is more in depth.
Yeah, where you have to I have to try to bait out. Maybe I have to bait out this guy's ward, this guy's strike, bait out this bottom, this shot pull, while having to make a major play.
When I play against my competitive friends, I can tell. Oh, that's a strike. That's metal full counter. That's like. Also, the problem with back row is people are just setting random. Well, not random. They're setting false back row traps that end up being nothing.
Well, yeah,
they're trying to.
And it's also scare the opponent, and that way, they try to bait out the MSTs, the stuff to hit those false back rows. But
it's a cheap scare tactic that can't be used anymore because there's no threatening traps.
No, it's also a nice little niche to kind of tell what's the most important one. Most people unconsciously do this. They set their best up in the middle of their spell and trap zone. They do it, not even knowing it. People tend to do that a lot.
That's like an intermediate level mistake.
Well, that's just like anybody can do that. It's just something you don't think about.
It can also be used to your advantage. If you know that's a common mistake, you can just like set a decoy trap or spell, then set the other one to the left. But that's why we have Twin Twister now. That's why Konami released Twin Twister. So even though it's still 2 cards you're popping, if your opponent does have back row, it
was not just for the battles to help counter pendulums a little bit as well.
Yeah, but pendulums, like with Twin Twister, pendulums can still bounce back.
Yeah.
Hard. I mean, you and I both faced the Magician deck, right? The one that summoned Supreme Dragon Zark. You faced it before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Like, if you guys don't know, that's for another time, but that deck doesn't care if you pop their whole field. They'll just bring it back in, like, a second. I promise you. When you see the duel videos, you'll see what I mean.
I think I have some dual builds of a deck that I actually beat. The deck was hilarious.
I beat the deck too, but it's annoying to defeat because they can just instantly recover without
you gotta keep pressure on the deck pretty much.
Yeah, but besides that, like, I don't know what else to say. I mean, like I said, I would love to see the back row come back, but not as heavy as it used to be. Like a moderate level, because when you know there's a strike face down, you can just bait it out and just go for a win if you have the hand advantage.
And we have enough backer hate right now to where it really wouldn't be an issue if traps came back a little bit more, because we have triple MST, we have triple Cyclone, triple Twin Twisters. Like, you have enough
Cosmic stuff. And it's more of a challenge when you think about facing pendulums with back row, because now it's something even more as a challenge to like just get better at the game. I mean, to have back row and pendulums to face that and to get over it is just a really great achievement. It's like one of those personal things you would enjoy, like gloating over for a few days. Well, I think that's it, right? I don't know what else to say.
That's pretty much about it. It's like nothing much to say about back row. Like I can say everything else we can say about the back row and the current state of it.
Yeah. So let us know what you think in the comments. What do you think if back row can return? If it'll be an issue? If we'll end up going back to 2005? God no. God no. Make sure to comment, rate, subscribe. All the links in the description. I will make sure that's done. It's our Facebook page. I don't know what else. Jonathan?
Be sure to join our Discord group. Linked up in the description below. You can talk about anything Yu-Gi-Oh related, find people to do it with, and basically social format and I can talk to, pretty much.
And Tech Tuesday tomorrow.
Exactly.
Alright, so without further ado, Jonathan.
I'll see you guys in the next videos. Bye.
Bye.